Welcome back to the Cinematic Wonder. Today, we're diving deep into a potentially explosive situation brewing in the superhero movie landscape. We've had a Marvel movie drought with just Deadpool and Wolverine gracing the big screen for over a year. But next year, the floodgates are opening. Mark your calendars for February, May, and especially July 25th, when Fantastic Four hits theaters. Just a week later, on August 11th, James Gunn's Superman is set to soar into cinemas. And here's the kicker. This could be a dangerous game for Marvel. Let's break down why this release strategy could backfire spectacularly. First up, let's acknowledge the obvious. Fantastic Four and Superman are both monumental comic book franchises. However, releasing them so close together raises some serious questions. You see, classical thinking often suggests it's better to get to the box office first. Sure, there are die-hard fans like us who will be there on opening night for both films. But what about the casual viewers? Those people who might choose one over the other, especially if they're only planning to hit the theaters once this year? For instance, my friends. They loved Deadpool and Wolverine, but he hasn't seen any other Marvel movies in ages. People have jobs, families, and commitments outside of the superhero realm. So, for those casual fans who might catch Fantastic Four first, they might skip Superman entirely just because they've already been to the movies that month. This means going first doesn't guarantee that Marvel will snag the box office crown. Now let's discuss the overlap. These two films are aiming for the same audience. Unlike the Barbenheimer phenomenon, where two very different films found success side by side, Fantastic Four and Superman cater to the same comic book enthusiasts. The marketing campaigns for both will ramp up at the same time, making it a battle for eyeballs. Imagine the trailers and ads fighting for attention. There's a real chance that they'll overshadow each other, and that's not good news for either studio. Let's assume for a moment that Marvel doesn't take the rumor about moving Fantastic Four seriously and sticks with its July 25th release date. In a perfect world, both films hit all the right notes with audiences, generating massive hype and anticipation. But here's where it gets tricky. A week after Fantastic Four's opening weekend, Superman will swoop in. Historically, James Gunn has a solid track record with his projects. His unique blend of humor, heart, and action, like what we saw in Peacemaker, sets a high bar. If Fantastic Four is merely okay or falls short of greatness, it could struggle to maintain momentum once Superman hits theaters. Let's be honest, the buzz around Gunn's films tends to overshadow the competition. If Fantastic Four doesn't knock it out of the park and Superman turns out to be a hit, the latter could completely squash any box office legs Fantastic Four might have had. Marvel needs this film to be a blockbuster, not just because it's Fantastic Four, but because they need to re-establish their dominance in a rapidly changing cinematic landscape. Marvel's challenge is not just about releasing a movie. It's about making sure that movie stands out. A mediocre Fantastic Four could lead to a disastrous box office scenario, and with all the hype surrounding Gunn's Superman, the risk of overshadowing is very real. If the audience is buzzing about Superman just a week later, it could pull viewers away from Fantastic Four entirely. Now let's explore another angle. The possibility of Marvel intentionally moving Fantastic Four to go head-to-head with Superman. Some theorists argue that if they do this, it might be their only chance to quell the box office hype surrounding Gunn's film. After all, if you can get those casual fans in the theater first, they may not feel the need to return just a week later for Superman. But let's not kid ourselves. This is risky business. Pitting Fantastic Four against Superman could lead to a box office bloodbath, especially when you consider how both films are vying for the same audience. It's a lose-lose situation where even if Fantastic Four excels, it could still face significant competition from Superman. Let's not forget about the broader landscape of superhero movies. With Blade now off the release schedule, Marvel might be feeling pressure to fill that gap, leading to potential scheduling conflicts. But moving dates could send ripples through the entire industry, affecting other studios' plans and strategies. Marvel has the clout to make those adjustments, but it's a high-stakes game of chess. So, what's the takeaway? Best-case scenario, both films could shine. But the reality is that the presence of Superman will loom large over Fantastic Four. If Marvel can't deliver a fantastic product, the fallout could be catastrophic. However, there's always the chance that Fantastic Four could be the surprise hit of the summer. If it manages to captivate audiences while Gunn's Superman doesn't meet expectations, then Marvel could come out on top. Now let's turn it over to you. Who do you think will have the upper hand, Superman or Fantastic Four? Are you more excited for one over the other? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments below. This is a fascinating time for superhero movies, and your opinions are what keep this discussion alive. So stick around and keep those thoughts coming. We're in for a wild ride as we count down to these major releases.